He ruled with an iron fist. He unified a broken land. He cheated death. At least, that was the plan. Over 2,000 years ago, China's first emperor built a tomb so massive, so intricate, and so deadly that no one has dared open it. Not archaeologists, not scientists, not even the Chinese government. Beneath a quiet mound near Xi'an, beneath the famous terracotta army, lies a sealed underground world, a buried empire, rumored to contain rivers of mercury, mechanical traps, and secrets that could poison the present. In 2025, the tomb remains sealed. The question is why? This is the terrifying truth about the tomb of Qin Shi Huang, China's first emperor, and why scientists are still too afraid to open it. 2,000 years ago, China wasn't China. It was chaos, a land torn apart by war, rival kingdoms, and constant bloodshed. This was the Warring States period, when survival meant conquest and ambition meant power. From this chaos rose a boy named Ying Zheng. Born in 259 BC in the western state of Qin, he became king at just 13, a puppet at first, surrounded by cunning ministers and ruthless generals. But make no mistake, he was no one's pawn for long. As he grew, so did his vision. He didn't just want to rule Qin, he wanted to rule it all. And over the next decade, he did the impossible. One by one, the other kingdoms, Han, Zhao, Wei, Chu, Yan, and Qi, fell to his armies. His soldiers fought with unmatched precision and brutal efficiency. Formations drilled to perfection, weapons ahead of their time, ruthless, unstoppable. By 221 BC, he had conquered all. For the first time in history, the land we now call China was unified. And with that victory, Ying Zheng declared a new name for himself, Qin Shi Huangdi, the first emperor of Qin. Qin Shi Huang wasn't content with unification. He wanted absolute control. He standardized writing, so all regions used the same characters. He replaced dozens of currencies with one national coin. He set standard weights, axle widths, and laws. Even the roads were regulated, so carts from every corner of the empire would roll in perfect unison. No ruler in history had ever imposed order this broadly, this fast. He even began the earliest version of the Great Wall, linking and reinforcing walls built by fallen kingdoms, creating a northern shield against nomadic raiders. He erased the old feudal powers and installed hand-picked governors, loyal only to him. He built canals, roads, bridges, and imperial bureaucracy, an entire infrastructure for control. But beneath that drive for order lurked fear. Not fear of rebellion, not fear of failure, fear of death. Qin Shi Huang wanted more than a dynasty. He wanted eternity. From the moment he became king, Qin Shi Huang was terrified of the one thing he couldn't conquer: death. And so began a desperate, obsessive search for immortality. He sent expeditions across oceans to mythical islands in search of the elixir of life. Scholars, alchemists, and doctors were ordered to create potions to stop aging. One of those potions, tragically, was mercury. Back then, it was believed to hold mystical properties. In reality, mercury is lethal, a slow, toxic killer. Ironically, the emperor who wanted to live forever may have poisoned himself in the process. But his greatest plan wasn't a potion. It was something far more ambitious. If he couldn't live forever in this world, he'd build a new one, an empire beneath the earth. At the base of Mount Li, near the capital of Shenyang, Qin Shi Huang ordered the construction of a tomb so vast it would mirror his living empire. Palaces, courts, roads, even a celestial ceiling. It was more than a burial site. It was a kingdom for the dead. Over 700,000 laborers, soldiers, craftsmen, slaves, prisoners were conscripted to dig, carve, and build. The scale was monstrous. Entire cities underground, buildings, walls, gardens, storehouses, chariots, entertainers, even stables for horses. The site stretched nearly 38 square miles, larger than many modern cities. A dual-walled necropolis with inner and outer cities was constructed with eerie precision. Everything the emperor had in life, he would have in death. And protecting it all, on the eastern front facing his former enemies, stood the most astonishing army ever made. For nearly 2,000 years, the tomb remained a secret. Locals whispered about strange hills, buried treasures, and cursed earth, but no one knew the truth. Then, in 1974, farmers digging a well outside Xi'an struck clay, not just any clay, a carved face. Then another, and another. Piece by piece, they unearthed what would become one of the greatest archaeological finds in human history, the Terracotta Army. Thousands of life-sized warriors, each unique. Soldiers, generals, archers, cavalry, frozen in battle formation, no two alike. Every face sculpted with care, every armor detail chiseled with precision. Some were kneeling, others ready to charge. Some held real bronze weapons, still sharp after millennia. Chariots, horses, even entertainers and officials. And they weren't just statues, they were painted. Once vibrant with reds, blues, and golds, but when exposed to air, the colors flaked off in hours. Many were lost forever. The mistake taught archaeologists a brutal lesson. This site is too delicate for haste. And that's just the army. The emperor's actual tomb, still untouched. Why? Because what lies beneath might be even more dangerous. We know where it is. Radar has mapped the central chamber, a giant mound beneath Mount Lee, shaped like a flat-topped pyramid. We know it exists. We just haven't opened it. Why? Because of a warning from over 2,000 years ago. A historian named Sima Qian, writing just a century after Qin Shi Huang's death, described the tomb in chilling detail. Aloases filled with treasure, a low ceiling painted with constellations, a tack floor shaped like the empire, rivers of mercury flowing through bronze channels replicating China's great waterways. But most haunting of all, traps. Deadly crossbows rigged to fire automatically, pressure-triggered arrows, hidden mechanisms designed to kill grave robbers or future intruders. At first, scholars thought this was myth, ancient exaggeration, until scientists tested the soil. What they found shocked them. Mercury levels were off the charts. Some samples showed concentrations 50 times higher than normal. The layout of contamination even matched the rumored locations of rivers inside the tomb. If those mercury traps still exist, if the air inside is poisoned, opening the tomb could be fatal to researchers and catastrophic to artifacts. Then there's the engineering. If the ancient traps were real and some of them still function, a spring-loaded weapon from 200 BC could still fire today. Think Indiana Jones, but real. So, the tomb remains sealed, untouched, like a time capsule built by a man who refused to die. Some scientists want to open it. Others say we must wait. Technology today still isn't advanced enough to stabilize what might lie within. Remember, just unearthing the terracotta warriors caused irreversible damage to their paint. Now imagine that, but on a tomb that's been sealed for over 2,000 years, filled with unknown gases, toxins, traps, and treasures. If we rush in, we risk losing everything. But waiting carries risk too. China is earthquake-prone. Floods, pollution, development, any could damage the site. Looters have destroyed countless other historical treasures. There's no guarantee the tomb will remain safe forever. To strike a balance, scientists are using non-invasive tools, ground-penetrating radar, remote imaging, even tiny robotic probes, to map and analyze what they can without breaching the seal. It's a slow race against time. Qin Shi Huang dreamed of immortality. In life, he built an empire. In death, he built a kingdom beneath the soil. He controlled his people, his roads, his writing, his laws, and even now, more than 2 millennia later, he controls us still. We hesitate, we wait, we study from a distance, but we do not enter. Maybe it's respect, maybe it's fear, maybe it's the echo of a ruler who never intended to be disturbed. So we ask you, Should we open the tomb of Qin Shi Huang, or let him keep his secrets? Let us know in the comments, and subscribe for more stories where ancient history meets modern mystery.